I was nearly sent to get a blood transfusion. I was exhausted, pre-diabetic, and drowning in shame from reoccurring health issues that I was experiencing. But what changed everything was not just a meal plan or a random fitness plan. It was inviting God into my fitness routine. And let me tell you how He transformed not only my body, but my life. In this episode, I'm going to share my personal faith, health, and fitness journey and my transformation and the moment that I realized that I had to choose either between needing a blood transfusion or making a radical lifestyle change to say enough is enough. I'm going to walk you through the low points, the turning point, and how exactly I invited God into this process. And stay to the end because I'm going to give you 5 practical ways to invite God into your fitness routine starting today. Okay, so let's get into it. But before we get into the video, let's get into the Bible verse of the day. It comes from Matthew 21:23, and it says that you can pray for anything, and if you have faith, that you will receive it. So this is a call as believers to be able to pray about anything and everything, not just the big things, but also the small things, right? Invite God into every single detail of your life. And if you really have faith and you believe and you take action with that belief, that you will receive that. So I want to encourage you today, as we get into this video, to also pray about your health and wellness journey as well. Because a lot of times as believers, we overlook that aspect in terms of inviting God into our fitness routine. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So let me give you guys a brief summary about my story, where I started, and just kind of how things progressed. Where leading up to this point, I always grew up, I never ate anything relatively healthy. I was always eating out, fast food. All I knew was fast food in my diet, right? I'm talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All I had was a fast food. You name any fast food you could think of, I probably had, like, you name it, okay? I will probably tell you that I've had it. And I came to a point where my habits didn't catch up to me up until years down the line. And that's usually how things happen, right? Most of the times we're enjoying our lives and we're just doing whatever we want, eating whatever we want, and things don't usually catch up until a couple of years of compounding the same habit over and over again. And then you get to a point where you're either sick or maybe overweight or something's going on, and you have that reality check of, okay, I need to do better because clearly what I've been doing is not okay and is not going to get me where I need to be. So I came to a point where I was overweight and I was just uncomfortable in my body. And when I say uncomfortable in my body, it was to the point where I just didn't have any confidence. I also just didn't like how I looked, if I'm being fully transparent. Like, let's just be honest. And also, I just didn't like how clothes were fitting me. I just knew how I was before, and then just seeing where I got to, I really looked and said, how did I even get here, and what is going on, and what can I do about it? But outside of just not feeling comfortable in my body because of being a little bit excess overweight, it was also the fact that I didn't feel comfortable in my body because I knew something was wrong. Guys, I came to a point where I was experiencing chronic yeast infections, right? And the chronic yeast infections were tied directly to my pre-diabetic symptoms and pre-diabetic track that I was on. And if you guys don't know, high blood sugar levels has a correlation to having reoccurring yeast infections. So if you are someone who's experiencing that, then you might want to go get that checked out. And for me, it made me feel so unclean because as a woman, I know that I shower, I take care of myself, but I was always struggling with these issues. And I was just like, what is going on? Because clearly I'm not okay. Like, clearly something inside of me is not working right for me to have all these current reoccurring infections. In addition to having these infections, I was also struggling with iron deficiency, right? And when I say iron deficiency, it was to the point where I almost needed a blood transfusion. Like, I was literally a few days, few weeks away from needing a blood transfusion because my iron was so low. And if you guys are unaware of some of the symptoms of iron deficiency anemia, I'll list some out, but I'll also just tell you personally from my experience, the experiences I was facing was I had brittle nails. I was always exhausted. I could sleep 8-9 hours, maybe even 10 hours, and I would wake up and I would always be tired. I would always be exhausted. I had no energy to do anything. And it got to a point where I just felt like I was just lazy lazy. And I was just like, how am I going to walk in my purpose if I'm always tired, if I always like lack energy? I need energy to be able to go forward and do the things that God is telling me to do, right? I was also having shortness of breath constantly. And it was just one of those things where it's like my body was just not okay and it was screaming for help. I remember around that time frame, I also had this moment where I went to the hospital because I just felt like I was not okay. And when I went to the hospital, you know, on the surface level, they did all these crazy tests for me and they're like, oh, okay, you seem fine. You seem relatively okay. But it wasn't until months later when I went back to the doctor, they let me know that, oh my God, you were going to need a blood transfusion if you didn't get your stuff together. And in that moment, I sat and I was like, look, I don't want a blood transfusion. So I want to change my life. I want to decide enough is enough, and let's make this transition and this decision to at least try to do this myself before I go forward and saying, let's go get a blood transfusion. So when I took all these initiatives and took these changes, these are the transformations and the wins that I saw. First and foremost, I lost 15 pounds. I went from being 180 to 165. I lost body fat, right? And I was able to now be comfortable in my skin and my body again. But in addition to that, my clothes started to feel better. I got confidence again. And on top of that, no more yeast infections, guys. If you are a woman who has struggled with yeast infections, you know how stressful it is. You know how like it can just play with your emotions because it makes you feel like you're just dirty or something's wrong with you. And the whole time you know that you be taking 2-3 showers a day. Ain't nothing wrong with you. And a lot of times it has to do with what your diet is. So I no longer had any more yeast infections. Praise the Lord. I also was able to gain strength in the gym and feel more confident on that front. But also I reversed my iron deficiency, guys. I was no longer in that range of needing a blood transfusion. And if I could put a picture of it here, I will show you the side-by-side comparison. And this was a couple of months apart. So up to the point where I went to the doctor and they're saying that I was about to need a blood transfusion, to the point where I took initiative, partnered with God. I came back to the doctor and I was completely rid of that range and I was back in normal ranges and no longer needing a blood transfusion. And I reversed my iron deficiency anemia. God is so good and I'm just so thankful for that. That is such a powerful transformation outside of just the weight loss, right? The weight loss is a plus, but that was something that really like near and dear till this day. It's such a great testimony that I can testify of. But in addition to that, I've also grew in my discipline, right? Going to the gym, taking care of your temple, eating right requires a level of discipline that it's not a joke. But when you have that discipline, it's so powerful. It's so rewarding because I am a firm believer of how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you half-heartedly do other things, you're most likely going to allow that to spill over to other areas of your life. So because I'm so serious about my gym, I'm so serious about my nutrition and my health, I am also serious about all the other endeavors in my life. And people can also see that from the outside looking in. Also, another thing that was a benefit and that a transformation for me was that my purpose was birthed from this incident and from this whole thing that I had to be able to overcome, because now I'm in a place where I help other people who were in my shoes. I help other believers. I help other Christians who want to steward their health and wellness. I am now in this position where I can do that. And this was the beginning and the birthing of that. And it's so amazing. And I'm so honored to be able to have the capacity to have helped over dozens of individuals lose fat. And also now be able to put God in the center of their faith and their fitness journey. And the most important transformation that happened to me in this process as well is that my relationship with God locked in. Like I'm telling you guys, like it deepened so much because through the trial, through the hardship, through the fact of not wanting to show up, I was constantly seeking God. I was constantly praying. I was constantly fasting. And I had so much intimacy with the Lord. And I'm so thankful for that, because that intimacy is a direct correlation to the breakthrough in my life that I'm experiencing in this moment, not just in my health, but all other areas of my life. So I can even think of, in that point, I didn't think I even had the best relationship with God at that moment. I always knew of God, but I didn't really have the intimacy that I have with him now, but I really am a firm believer that me prioritizing my temple and also seeking God at the same time of me taking care of my health and wellness caused me to have an even deeper and more intimate relationship with God now, to the point that I'm just like, I'm so thankful for, and I can see the fruits in my life, right? So that is also like something that's been so transformational for me. And I'm a firm believer that you are the most qualified to help the person that you used to be, right? So this is why I'm even here making this video, sharing this testimony with you guys, and just even the premise of the content that I share on this channel. I want to encourage you guys that sometimes we are praying and waiting on God for breakthrough, but sometimes God is waiting on us. We've prayed already, but we have to act as if we've already received the answer to our prayer. So what is God telling you to do in order for you to see that health breakthrough? Is he telling you to hire a coach? Is he telling you to go grab an ebook? Is he telling you to start going on walks? Is he telling you to fast more? What is he telling you to do so that you can partner with him in order to see the breakthrough in your health and your wellness? Because I'm guaranteeing you, there is an action item that you have to take. Now, I've shared my testimony, but enough about me. I want to give you guys 5 practical ways to invite God into your fitness routine so that you can see life-changing transformation. Number 1 is pray before your workouts. Ask God for the strength to be able to go through your workouts. When you invite God into your fitness routine, it becomes less about you and more about him, and more about his strength and his might that is operating through you. A lot of us will pray over our food, we'll say grace, we'll pray over big decisions in our lives, but we seldom think to pray to God about just, okay, going to the gym or working out or eating healthier. These are things that you also need to pray about. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, the verse of the day is about pray about everything, right? So not just the things that you think are worthy to be prayed about, every little thing you need to be praying about. So start praying before your workout. And the prayer does not have to be something all big and fancy. You can literally just say, Lord, give me the capacity and the strength to get through this workout and to finish it in its entirety, Lord. When I feel weak, strengthen me. When I want to give up, put the endurance and the stamina in me to see this to the finish, right? And help me to realize that I'm doing this not just for my own good, but to honor the temple that you have blessed me with, because this is not my own body. This is a vessel that you are utilizing, right? And when you start to rewire that, I'm telling you, it causes transformation. Whenever I've had a hard moment and I just feel like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this workout done, I pray. And somehow, some way, I get through that workout. So I highly recommend that you start doing it, even if it's just a 2-5-minute prayer. Number 2, y'all might not like this, but it's fasting. Fasting for clarity and breakthrough. Fasting strengthens your discipline, and it also breaks strongholds. It's going to break strongholds physically and spiritually. Fasting is not just about, I'm going to skip meals for the sake of skipping meals. Fasting is about strengthening your spirit, right? Because I'm going to let you know this right now. You don't have to ever fast and you can still lose weight. If you know how to eat properly and fuel your body, you don't have to fast a day in your life and you'll be fine, and you can lose weight, achieve a lean physique, and be totally fine. I personally, when I fast, I really don't even fast for just fitness. I fast most of the times because I want to have clarity from God. I fast for most of the times because I want to be able to hear from God, have intimacy with him, and understanding that I cannot do a lot of the things that he has placed in my heart without him. So when I fast, I consecrate myself so that I can be able to hear from the Lord more. But fasting also has a lot of practical benefits in terms of weight loss and weight management. But I really want to hone into the spiritual component of fasting and how it can benefit your fitness journey. One thing that it is so important is that fasting helps you deny your flesh, right? Fasting helps you say no to, right, the meals and the cravings. When you are fasting, you are denying yourself of something that we naturally do. So like, let's say I normally will fast from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. whenever I'm doing a fast. I've done fast for 3 days, 7 days, 21 days, right? And in those fasting, I am hungry. I have headaches sometimes when I fast. I get low energy when I fast. And I'm not complaining. I'm just being honest with the true side effects of fasting sometimes. But even in the midst of that, I still stay true to my fast. And I understand that I'm denying my flesh. And I'm saying no because I have to remain disciplined because I'm doing this for relationship with me and God. So that same self-control that you build in fasting is the same self-control that's going to help you with sugar cravings. Is the same self-control that's going to prevent you from binge eating if that's something that you struggle with. Is the same self-control that's going to help you combat gluttony, right? Because when you learn how to deny yourself of certain things and certain pleasures, you are going to be able to have a healthier relationship with food, because now I look at food differently. I look at food as fuel. I still make food that tastes good and I love to eat, but I look at it in a way of, look, I don't need to overdo it. I don't need to overconsume, because this is very much fuel, and then too much of anything can be a bad thing. So that's been a great way in helping me to make better decisions and help me combat any cravings that I may have, because now I have the direct discipline that I have gained from fasting. And yes, fasting does also help with weight management in addition to that. And fasting is not about punishment. It's about aligning yourself and your spirit and your body with God so that you can receive that breakthrough. You quiet out the noise so that you can hear what God is saying, right? And you're using that as a sacrificial offering. So I really recommend you try a fast, even if it's just starting off with one day or one meal, fasting from one meal. Or, if you big and bad, you can do a dry fast. I haven't gotten that big and bad yet, but if that's something that you want to do and go all out in, whatever you feel like the Holy Spirit is nudging you, I would recommend that you implement fasting. 3 is listen to worship music or listen to a sermon while you are working out. So similar to how sometimes we listen to podcasts if we're driving and doing regular activities, instead of just putting any regular podcast or type of music on, put some worship music on, put some gospel, hip hop, and rap. You know what I'm saying? They have some good songs out here now that I play at my group fitness classes and my boot camps that are like, they're all non-secular music and they go hard. Okay. You can play that, but also just simply playing worship music is a great way to strengthen you up. If you've ever sat there in a praise and worship session, there is something about giving praise to the Lord that, one, invites his spirit into the atmosphere, but also gives you the strength to keep going. If you want, put on an encouraging sermon or encouraging YouTube video that is going to keep you going, because you have to understand that just as much as we have to train our bodies and our flesh, we also have to train our mind, and we have to get our mind right. So be mindful of what you're feeding yourself, right? Be mindful of what you're watching and listening, because it can very much motivate you or discourage you. Like, have you ever noticed if you watch like a news or you watch something that's talking about a whole bunch of negativity, you end up feeling bad, or you end up feeling lazy or tired, or you now have this rage or negative viewpoint on people because you just watch something or you listen to something that is spewing out this type of energy. But if you are watching a sermon or listening to a music that is uplifting, you are more likely to be uplifted and have the capacity and the mindset to go forward and do this thing and show up and work out. Because a lot of the times the battle is in the mind. Our minds are one of the most powerful places, the most powerful tool. And this is my favorite quote, and it says, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Which means that if you think you could do something, then you are going to act in that way and you're going to get it done. But if you think you can't and you limit yourself in your mind, then you're not going to be able to fulfill it. So I encourage you to also feed your mind with the things that are going to be able to keep you going and keep you motivated and encouraged in this journey. Number 4 is use movement as a form of worship. So instead of saying, I have to go to the gym, I don't want to do this extra squat or this extra push-up, understand that every single rep that you get in is you honoring your temple, this God-given body that God has blessed you with. Is an act of worship, is an act of obedience, and it's also an act of gratitude. It's you saying thank you for this body that you have blessed me with, because now you working out, you eating right, is you saying that you are so thankful for this body that you want to take care of it, right? So you're not going to the gym because you hate yourself. I would hope not. right? You want to go to the gym and you want to take care of what you put in your body because you love yourself and you are grateful for the body that God has blessed you with and has given you with. So because of that, you want to rewire your framework to think of movement and working out as a form of worship, right? Even like for me, I tell people all the time, I grow on prayer walks. I know 10K steps is something that's very popular nowadays, and I get me my 10K steps on a regular basis, sometimes 15,000 steps. But I do that while also honoring God at the same time. And now I see it as a form of worship. So every morning I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I go on my walk, my 2-3 mile walk. I'm praying, I'm listening to my worship music. I am using it as a time to not only get my fitness goals intact, but I'm also using it as a time to make sure that my spirit is intact. So I would also recommend that you rewire your mindset in that way. Number 5 is surround yourself with people who are on similar journeys with you, or surround yourself with people who are also honoring and stewarding their temple well. Join a community that is faith and fitness oriented. For example, the Holy Fit Movement, shameless plug. We are a faith and fitness community, right? Where we are helping believers take care of their body. So we're naturally going to attract like-minded men and women who are all on the same journey or all on the same frequency, right? Because you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to edify and push you forward to the goal that you have. So you can no longer afford to surround yourself with people who are not wanting to honor their temples, people who just want to eat whatever and don't want to work out, or maybe people who don't believe that there's a correlation between faith and fitness, because there's a lot of people who think that, oh, I don't need to pray about my fitness. Oh, I don't need to go to the gym because, oh, it's vanity or it's a sin. Like, you'll be surprised. A lot of people think that working out is just like not tied to faith at all. And hey, if that's you, this may not be the place for you, but you need to surround yourself with people who understand that there is a direct correlation with your health and your walk with God. One of the main reasons people fall off on their journeys towards their goals is because they're isolated, right? There is a season for isolation, right? But we're not meant to be isolated forever. We're not meant to walk alone forever. Why did God put all these people on this earth for us to just do this thing alone? God calls us in community. He says where 2 or more are gathered, he is here within our midst. So I encourage you, whether it's the Holy Fit community that I'm offering you an invite to, or another community, I encourage you to join a community of like-minded individuals who are also trying to take care of their health and wellness so that you guys can keep each other encouraged. Hey, subscribe to this channel because I'm here to also keep you encouraged. And understanding that an accountability of the believers who are on this same journey is going to be so pivotal in your journey, right? Being able to have people to share your struggles with, your wins with, and keep you encouraged is going to go a long way versus doing it alone. If you're at a place where you feel stuck and disconnected, let my story be a reminder that God cares about your health, okay? He's not waiting for you to be perfect. He's not waiting for you to have everything figured out. He is just waiting for you to surrender to him and start where you are and take one step of obedience. There's one step, put one foot in front of the other and do what he's calling you to do, okay? So whether that means starting to go on walks, waking up earlier, go get a coach, go grab an ebook, go grab a resource, go watch that YouTube video, go learn these different things, I encourage you to take that next step of obedience so that you can partner with God to see the transformation that you're looking for in terms of your health and wellness. If this resonated with you and you're ready to take the next step, grab your Body Recomposition ebook, okay, while it's still on sale. It's not just about workouts and nutrition tips. It's also a faith-filled, faith-based blueprint that is going to help you honor God while also honoring your health at the same time. Okay, where they do that at? It's not too many individuals or blueprints or guides that are also incorporating the faith and the fitness aspect. So if you are that believer who is ready to take the next step, or you feel a tug in your heart and in your spirit, then I really recommend you go in the link down below and go grab your Body Recomposition ebook, because it's made with you in mind. And I guarantee you that you will see transformation as long as you stay committed to the process. And I also have the Body Recomposition series that I'm doing right now, and this is one of the episodes of the series, but should be sure to go check out the playlist and watch the other videos where I actually give you detailed tips and tricks on tracking and all these other stuff so that you have all the resources that you need. Thank you for watching. And if this resonated with you, or if you are experiencing any struggles, comment down below what has been your struggle or what conviction has God been placing in your heart about your health and your fitness. And give me what is one action item that you are going to take in order to start honoring your temple and taking care of your body. I will see you guys in the next episode.